Hey my beauties, it's me, Miss Ultimate Beauty, and I wanted to come by because I had a session with a client yesterday and it was so good. And the question she asked, which is what a lot of my clients ask and a lot of people who suffer from narcissistic abuse ask, is how are they able to move on so fast? How was he able to replace me? And how, you know, do I get over it? Because you start to feel like there's something wrong with you when you're so easily replaced. But let's get into that very quickly because I needed to let her know right away that one, she can never be replaced. You can never be replaced. There's no one like you. You are who you are. You are sent here for a purpose, and no one can replace you. That's number one. Number two, narcissists cannot be alone because if they're alone, they would have to actually process their own thoughts and they would have to think on their own, which they're not capable of doing. Narcissists, if you think about them in this sense, they are children. They they have emotionally stopped developing at about 4 years old. And a 4 year old's only desire is to be fed, given attention, and being talked to nicely. They have no boundaries. You tell them to stop doing something, they'll still do it. You tell them to be quiet, they'll still scream. 4 year olds have not learned to have morals and standards and respect. You have to teach that to them. A lot of narcissists, for whatever reason throughout their life, did not get that phase where they were taught to have respect for others or even themselves. So they don't know how to respect boundaries, love themselves, or love other people. So, with that being said, the only way that they can feel whole inside is by getting attention. And they need attention for as many people as they can get because most people will not deal with their narcissistic behavior. You would never date someone who is yelling and screaming and throwing tantrums or upset because they don't get their way. You wouldn't date someone who's only doing things transactionally. You wouldn't date someone who hasn't found a way to show you love except through a material way. You date someone like that when you're not healed yourself. And that's why it's so easy for a narc to get a lot of people, because what they're doing is they're usually going after people who are damaged, who've been hurt, who've been through a lot of issues, and they come in like this rescuer or this savior to help them through their issue. But what they're really doing is taking advantage of the fact that this person is not really healed and they're not able to see that what's right in front of them is not good for them in any way, shape, or form. So, what a narcissist does is they keep as many people in their life as possible to have for supply. They need to be able to have tons of people around them so that they can use those people for when someone leaves, because someone's always going to leave. Whether it's a month, a week, a day, a year, no one's going to stay with a narcissist for a long time. And if they do, it's a miserable relationship. So it's nothing to, feel jealous about. If your narcissist comes on social media and says they're married today, count your blessings. God has spared you. And you can now move on with your life happily because they are incapable of making other people happy. All they know how to do is things that can benefit them, and that's not love. So let's get into it. Why do they move on so quickly? A narcissist will find someone who's willing to volunteer their time and energy for them and love bomb them by giving them gifts, calling them beautiful, making them the center of their world, going to see them, spending time with them, investing in things with them. The narcissist will do whatever it takes to get that person to believe that they're their world. That's why you notice when you love a narcissist, they don't love you back. You say, I did all this stuff for him. I did all this stuff for her. She just wouldn't love me back. They don't love. They don't know how to love that way. All they know how to do is use. So if you're loving them, one, they're confused as to why you would be loving them. Two, they do not know how to receive love. They only know how to receive transactions. So if you do something out of your heart, if you do something to please them, they will always suspect there's something wrong with it. They will always ruin that. They will always take it as, oh, well, they must want something because that's how they are. They could never, ever in their life do something just to do it. Even if they give you a Starburst, they're giving you that piece of candy in hopes to get something in return. They don't do anything without hoping to receive something from it. So when you come along and do something from your heart, they are confused. So they find and manipulate the situation into be, what is this person trying to get from me? And if anything, you upset them because now they have to find a way to figure out what it is that you really want from them, because you couldn't just be loving them because they don't even know what that is. A lot of time narcs come from homes where the parent only exchange of love is through labor. Like, if you do this for me, son, I'll love you. If you do this for me, daughter, I love you. You get good grades, you get affection. You clean up, you get affection. They don't really come from a place where they're constantly loved on just for being them. And that's what develops a healthy child. That's another question one of my clients asks. How do you prevent your child from not being a narcissist? Love them. Tell them you love them for no reason. Hold them, kiss them, say you're amazing. Do all of this without them having to do something. Don't only reward or give your child love because they did something. Your existence is enough to be loved. And a lot of parents do not teach their children this, and that is why a lot of kids become narcissists. They feel they have to do something. They feel they have to earn love, and that's not how love works. So, getting back to why they move on so quickly. Any type of attention is good for them. It can be from anyone, from anything. They just need attention. So usually whoever is available within arm's reach, they're just going to go to that person next. Whoever is there and willing to converse with them and spend time with them, they're going to move on to them next. And a lot of times a narc has their supply in reserve. If you notice, narcs talk to exes from years ago. They talk about exes from years ago because they're still holding on to that person. They're still hoping they can interact with that person and be with that person because they need as much attention as possible. That's why a lot of narcs, my first narc is married. He's married with children and he still calls me to this day, telling me he loves me and wants to be with me, and that can we hang out soon? He's gonna come see me. And I'm just like, there's no end. There's no end to it. She must have not been giving him exactly what he wanted at that moment, and he needed to come get attention from me. That's why narcs move on so quickly, because they always keep someone around to give them attention. And there's always a desperate enough female, desperate enough man to sit around waiting for that attention. And instead of saying, you know what, you just stop talking to this person. You just stop dealing with this person. Maybe you should get over that and heal with that, and we can just be cool. But let's not do anything. Let's just get to know each other, be cool. You know what I'm saying? We don't have to have sex. We don't have to engage. And then let's see what happens. But there's always a desperate person willing to get that affection that a narc is giving. And I don't blame them, because love bombing is created to fool a person into believing that you really care about them. And there's a lot of hurt people out here who just want to feel cared about. So they're going to take on that situation and really believe the person cares for them, but they do not. So that is why they move on so quickly. But that's also why you should know that it's not going to last, and that even if it does, that person is doing you a favor. Think of that person as taking the garbage out for you. Think of the person that they moved on immediately with, because they did not change in a month. They did not change in 3 months. They did not change in 5 months, because they didn't do anything to heal themselves. They didn't do anything to recover from what they've been through. All they're doing is moving from person to person, body to body, and they're not healing themselves. So how could they possibly be making that person happy now? It doesn't matter what they do. A narc will always be like, well, she makes me happy and she does this and she does that. It's triangulation. And we'll talk about in another video. If somebody's making you so happy and doing all the things you have to do, why are you talking to me? Because you need as much attention as possible. A narc will literally talk to anyone who will listen. They will deal with anyone who will deal with them, and they will have sex with anyone who will open their legs to have sex with them. They have no morals, they have no standards, and the only way that they can thrive is through energy of other people. So they have to keep them around. And with that being said, you just have to say to yourself, hey, how can I take this as a learning lesson? How can I heal from the situation and get over it? How can I learn from this mistake and not do it again? Because you deserve real love, not one that you have to fight for, not one that you have to beg for, not one that you have to be confused about, not one you have to compete for. If you are in a relationship with someone and they even mention another girl or show another girl to you, like, well, she does this or she does that, run. That person is manipulating you and using you and trying to keep you in some type of competitive war with a bunch of other women to have control over you. And that is not love. If that person moves on right after you, take it as a sign that it was never real, and it's never gonna be real. Because if it was, that person could not do that. They wouldn't be able to. Now, this is not to get confused with a bad relationship. You can have a bad relationship and you guys just don't get along, and somebody can meet somebody new and it's amazing and they get together. But most of the time when this person moves on is with someone that was already in their life. It was someone that they were considering a friend or a business partner, someone that was already just in lieu for when they were ready to stop, to discard you, or you would discard them. So don't get confused. I don't want you guys to stay like, oh, I can't move on right away because that means I'm a narc. No, I healed enough in my relationships to know that I'm capable and ready to be with someone and love them. And that's why I was able to leave my narc, because I knew it wasn't real love. So when you're stressed or thinking, oh, maybe I shouldn't move on, because that's what good people do. You don't want to move on. You don't want to rush into a relationship because you're a good person and you want to do the right thing. No. If you find a connection with someone and you guys are having a real relationship and working towards something, okay. But just sleeping with random people, having sex with friends or colleagues or just whoever's available is a narcissistic response to not heal your own issue. And that is why you must take some time to yourself after you break up with people to really figure out why the relationship didn't work, so you can show up as a better version of yourself in your new relationship. And you need to take it as a blessing that this person moved on so quickly. Take it as comfort that this person moved on so quickly, because now you can focus on yourself. Trust me, that person ain't going nowhere. They're going to still blow up your phone. They're going to still try to call you. They're going to still send you nasty videos. They're going to still try to be with you sexually and emotionally, because that is how they get their energy, from stealing it from other people. That's the least of your worries. That person's the least of your worries. Get over that person. Get over that pain. Get over the fact that they're with someone else, and think of it as the biggest favor that they've ever done for you. Email me at ultimatebeauty10@yahoo.com with any questions that you may have. I'm having so many great one-on-one consultations with you guys, and it's really been amazing. In this video, I'm going to link a self-love playlist. This playlist is great to listen to if you're feeling down, if you're feeling like, stressed out about the situation. Music is a beautiful therapeutic thing. Listen to these songs and sing them to yourself. Love on yourself. One of my favorite songs on the self-love playlist is Be Happy. All I really want. You gotta be happy. And you wasn't happy with that person. That person was never going to be able to give you what you need out of life. So listen to that self-love playlist. Heal. Let it go. And if you need any help doing so, reach out to me at ultimatebeauty10@yahoo.com, and let's start this narcissistic recovery together. Besos.